that as a national flag. So you may want to carry this flag and you're not allowed to cast your vote. You end up maybe arrested or dispersed from the polling station. But let's look at the stories that transpired yesterday. Now, the leaders of Kasese district have acknowledged the NRM presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni for transforming the district through establishing a UPDF mountain brigade to enhance security. The remarks were made during Museveni's campaign in Bukonzo East County. They pledged to ensure and secure over 70% of the vote in his favor. Kisinga Town Council grounds in Bukonzo East County, Kasese district hosted a multitude of NRM supporters as the NRM presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni delivered the 7-point manifesto. During the campaigns, Kasese district leaders praised the NRM for transforming the district through development and for creating the mountain brigade of UPDF to keep security in the district. Others commended President Museveni for his wealth creation programs. Museveni urged the people of Kasese to hold peace ushered in as they remember how the ADF disturbed them before. Museveni pledged more irrigation schemes for Kasese people to boost agricultural production. He encouraged the residents to enter commercial agriculture to create jobs and improve household income. Today, Museveni moves to Kololo ceremonial grounds in Kampala for his final rally. The National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu campaigned in Kampala Central Division, rallying the people to vote for change. The rally was at Aga Khan grounds in Old Kampala. Kyagulanyi emphasized the country deserves a new beginning built on fairness, justice, and improved service delivery. He promised that if elected president, his government would deliver modern roads, well-equipped hospitals with medicines and doctors, and free education for all Ugandans. Alliance for National Transformation presidential candidate General retired Mugisha Muntu is pressing hard for his final presidential campaign today. While the NRM and NUP attract massive crowds, General Muntu drew crowds in Mbarara and Ibanda districts. The Forum for Democratic Change presidential candidate Nathan Nandamafabi started giving voter education, emphasizing to the voters to tick in the box instead of the face of the candidate on the ballot box. He was campaigning in Bukedia district where he said that he has received a tip from voters that the Electoral Commission has not done enough voter education. Various election observers have arrived in Uganda ahead of the January 15th general elections. The delegation was briefed by the Electoral Commission and are expected to carry out their mandate of monitoring and observing the electoral process. Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan is heading the African Union Election Observers Mission. Different local, regional, and international leaders different local, regional, and international observers are already in the country. Among them is the former Nigerian president. The Electoral Commission engaged key stakeholders, including election observers, to ensure a peaceful, transparent, and credible electoral process. The Electoral Commission emphasized professionalism, neutrality, and strict adherence to electoral laws. The Electoral Commission chairperson, Justice Simon Babakama, explained the difference between a valid and invalid vote. The Commission also explained the 20-meter rule around polling stations on polling day. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Abbas Byakagaba, reassured both the observers and the general public that police are working closely with other security organs to ensure a peaceful election. Finally, from the local scene, police have cautioned special police constables, SPCs, over misconduct during the election period. The constables were recruited to support law enforcement, but members of the public have raised concern over their conduct during night operations. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of political affairs warned officers operating outside official procedures, particularly those working without uniform. Police recruited more than 100,000 special police constables countrywide to enhance security during the election. However, the public has raised concern over misconduct and extortion allegedly during the night. There are also concerns about criminal gangs in ghettos impersonating security personnel to carry out illegal activities within these communities. And with that, we come to the end of our local stories this morning. Let's see what Joanne has for us on the international scene.
And of course, from the global coverage, we start off with the Mount National Naval Exercise, Will for Peace 2026, which formally got underway on Monday at Simonstown and Naval Base, with participation from BRICS member states comprising China, Russia, Iran, UAE, and South Africa. Footage shows warships docked at the harbor with the flags of BRICS and member states flying.
Of February, we have to ensure that one, there is compliance with the law. We do realize that there are quite a number of scenarios which have come in, and there have been numerous reporting or numerous interpretation of various stakeholders in respect to the law. We have seen a number of violations in human rights and complaints arising from numerous political actors. So the role of Uganda Law Society, one, is to assist the members of public, one, to understand the laws, all the laws concerning this election period that we are going into, and of course also to encourage stakeholders to adhere to the agreed principles that have been signed or agreed upon by all political actors. Of course, in this issue, you do realize that yesterday we had a press conference. And in the press conference, we are quite clear. We are heading into the polls, and as a society, we are here to ensure that, one, people protect and adhere to the principles that have been agreed upon. And in such a scenario, we did realize that if you look at the background or the history in which we have been having elections, 2021, 2016, we have realized that towards elections, there is a rampant abuse of human rights. We see a detention of political actors. In fact, in the legal field recently, you did realize that there was an arrest of one of the activists, that is Dr. Sarah Virete, where she was arrested from her home, kept in detention for some time, and then of course later on arraigned in courts of law. And there are also other political actors and citizens of this country. Birete is probably known, and probably maybe that is why it got the eye of the public. But we know there are so many people there who are probably also facing a similar scenario. So as the Uganda Law Society, one, we are here to tell the stakeholders, please, let there be a fair ground for all the political actors. Let there be no voter intimidation. We are seeing a rise in the number of security forces. And of course, the question is, why now? Why now?
Because we are going in an election.
Yes.
And so security has to be on top notch.
Yes, yes. We do realize that elections, it is not something, of course, that is only seen in Uganda. Elections happen everywhere. And of course, it is now a global village. And of course, we do thank the government for ensuring that there is security. But the numbers create fear and intimidation. Maybe the people around Kampala are used to seeing security officers, but you have our people out there in the public who are not used to seeing security officers and the like. So there is that complaint that it actually creates fear, it creates intimidation, and probably sometimes it even makes voters shun away from the election exercise. So for us as the Uganda Law Society, one, we are calling on to the security to have a balanced representation. We do realize that there is the bigger picture of ensuring security, but everything should be done in light of the law. We have seen in quite a number of areas where we are seeing security officers attacking attacking supporters, supporters of political parties, especially parties that are strong enough to challenge the incumbent. We have seen detentions where people...
Now, Arthur, sorry to cut you short. You said one of your mandates is ensuring that the public and the stakeholders understand the law.
Yes.
Now, as Uganda Law Society, what efforts have you taken? Because most of these things where we usually have the challenge is understanding the law.
Yes.
Someone says it is my right, then also the law says something different.
Yes.
Those that allegedly oppress
Yes.
are saying they are working within the confines of the law.
Yes.
Those that are oppressed are saying they are working within the confines of the law.
Yes.
Now, when you go down to speak to some of these people, they're not even aware of the law.
Yes.
And this is your mandate. Would I be wrong if I blamed you for not performing your mandate? That we even have candidates who do not understand the laws. Someone is standing under the local government law governing elections. They totally know nothing, but they are candidates. Their supporters also know nothing, but they are candidates. But I mean, they are diehards of that particular candidate. Someone is told you're supposed to campaign up to this time. He says, but it is still day. You know, we can go until dark. And they insist. And then police will come in and, of course, bring the coercive forces of the state.
Yes. Like I said, our entity is a statutory body. And we have around 7,000 lawyers. The 7,000 lawyers are spread across the country. And they are one of their biggest roles, especially in this period. We have tasked them, one, to do sensitization. To do sensitization, they are out there in the public. They're engaging with the public and informing them that they have their right to vote. And that is where we call upon all Ugandans. Please ensure that you turn up on the 15th, turn up on any other day that has been scheduled by the Electoral Commission to vote. This is your constitutional right. This right, especially in our country, it happens after every 5 years, or depending on the scenario, we have situations where maybe some elections are annulled by the courts of law. But if everything moves on as is, we have elections every 5 years. So we call upon the public, please turn up and vote. Of course, we have also other stakeholders that we work with. We work with the Electoral Commission. We work with the security agencies. And our biggest role is to always ensure that we continue that advocacy. And that is why through our Radical Nuba Live series, we normally host all the stakeholders. And they are always given a fair platform to ensure that they do actually advocate and ensure that people actually know their rights. You are right when you say that the biggest challenge we have currently in the country is illiteracy. Not illiteracy in the form that someone need to go to school, but there is limited knowledge out there in the public. We have seen quite a number of amendments that have happened, and in fact, this is where we even remind the Electoral Commission, courts of law are very clear when it comes to the right to vote, especially for people who are in prison, people who are in the diaspora. It is quite hurting that we haven't seen a direct communique from the Electoral Commission in how they have actually created a platform to ensure that these people vote. We did hear that, of course, these are people, you have to vote from where you are resident, but this is a unique situation. Someone who is behind the bars, probably someone who is in the diaspora, there should be some form of a system that actually can enable someone vote without actually leaving the police, the prison confines. So that is something, of course, we continue to advocate for, to ensure that people vote without any fear or duress. I talked about that issue of sometimes being that fear. Yeah, of course, the fear arises because of external factors that I have ably talked about. And that is why, as the Uganda Law Society, we have come up with what we call the election and rapid response mechanism. As the Uganda Law Society, we shall be watching whatever takes place Of course, we have been watching. We have been watching and we have been documenting whatever has been transpiring during this election period, right from the nominations, throughout the campaigns, and of course, I think the last stroke will be the issue of voting. We have been watching, we continue to watch. I want to assure the public that we are watching, and we have come up with a toll-free number in case someone faces any challenges or witnesses any human rights abuses on that day of the voting. Please feel free to reach out to our toll-free number. Our toll-free number is 0800-355355. We shall be able to receive your complaints, and we shall have a response team that will actually swing into place. We know, especially some of the political actors who threaten, and this cuts across. I don't want to blame one of the parties. I know it cuts across depending on the regions where we see people threatening others because they support a certain political party or they wear a certain color. Yeah, it is quite sad. Of course, we came out and condemned where we see.
I see it so much on social media.
Yes, someone is wearing his yellow shirt and people are trying to attack. What is wrong? People should not be intimidated for supporting a certain political party. People should be left to exercise their free will. Yeah, because our constitution, which was promulgated in 1995, it had a preamble. We came from far. Those who have been here for quite a number of years know what we went through to be where we are. And all that arises if people don't respect rights, agreed principles that are enshrined in the Constitution. We have a right to assemble. Yeah, we have been hearing different interpretations, especially when it comes to people probably voting and either going home, staying around. Yeah, as Uganda Law Society, for us, we are saying the law is clear. Unless the law is amended, unless the exception is put aside, the law is as is. Yeah, when someone votes, you are at liberty to go to your home if you feel like. However, if you want to observe, please keep the distance which is provided for under the law and behave. Behave.
Otherwise, if you don't behave.
Behave. Don't stay there and then you want to threaten the security. You want to provoke people from going to vote, shouting for others. Yeah, please behave. If you are staying, behave. Yeah, because you can watch whatever is transpiring. If you feel tired, feel free to go home. I believe the Electoral Commission will be independent because that is what the law says. The Electoral Commission, you have to
now,
be
Arthur, you've talked about the toll-free line.
Yes.
But as Uganda Law Society, my question is, what can you do? You know? Because we've had so many advocates, human rights groups, all sorts of numbers given out there. But I mean, away from saying this is where I'm going to report this, how pressing is your mandate to cause meaningful action? Because during this election, I've had a lot of people coming up to say, let's know. By the end of the day, it ends at let's know. All along, you've said you've been compiling actions of human rights violation. What have you done?
Yes, that is a very important question, where you say that as ULS, of course this is not about us as Uganda Law Society, this is about us as the entire country. The question I think should be that what can we as Ugandans do?
I'm not putting it to Ugandans.
Yes.
People have put issues to Ugandans.
Yes.
We even had one who told Ugandans,
yes,
go vote,
yes,
leave the rest to me.
Yes.
And many later on had to then said, do this. So I'm asking you from Uganda Law Society.
Uganda Law Society.
You said you have put up a rapid
response
team.
Yes.
In my little understanding of the English language,
yes,
it means it acts on call,
rapidly.
It
Yes.
acts promptly,
yes,
it acts timely.
Yes.
Now, What are you going to do?
Of course, like
we don't want to give people false hope. And you know, sometimes when we say these things, two things happen. One, the violators, if they are there, the alleged violators, this may hinder them from committing these offenses. But also, which is good. But also on the other side, we have those in this time of social media activism who may even go in harm's way because they believe there's someone watching out there and is going to document this. I've seen people during campaigns asking another, you know, someone is proud to use an arrest. Someone is proud to show a scar as a campaigning tool. So that's why I'm asking, yes,
of course, the legal arsenal for all lawyers is the courts of law. Like I've said, we work with various stakeholders. We do realize that we have, if it is a criminal offense, it arises from investigations at police or maybe other security agencies and all the way to the courts of law. The legal arsenal for all lawyers is our pen. Is our pen. I don't want to say that we have any other tool, and of course, our mouth, because that is the advocacy that we talk about. At the end of the day, as lawyers, if there are any violations of any human rights, I can assure you the perpetrators will be held accountable. And of course, there is only one way of holding someone accountable. We have the courts of law. In case any police officer violates any person's rights or any security personnel, the law is quite clear that such persons can always be taken to courts of law. And I believe there are so many success stories where security agencies or personnel who have violated rules of law have actually been taken to the courts of law. That is the arsenal.
Still, I bring it back to you, Arthur.
Yes.
Have you given pro bono services? I don't remember, and I stand to be corrected.
Yes.
Uganda Law Society.
Yes.
In all that has been happening,
Yes.
I've not seen a police officer represented in a court. Because some of these, yes, there have been violations against police officers. There have been violations against people in security, as they have been violations against members of the public.
Yes.
Now, do we have incidents where you've stepped foot to seek justice for these people?
Yes, we have been doing this for the last 25 years. As the Uganda Law Society, we have the legal aid and the pro bono arm. It is the human face of the Uganda Law Society, and it cuts across the regions of this country. We have clinics where we have a number of lawyers in eastern, western, I don't want to name the districts, but we are spread across all the country. Maybe for the listeners who are out there, we have legal aid pro bono clinics in Chitugu, in Masaka, Mbarara, Jinja, Kampala, Masindi, Mbale. We are spread across the entire region, and throughout the 25 years we have been stepping in for the vulnerable, for the people who are unable to actually access the services of a legal lawyer. And this has not only been during the campaign season, because I don't want to say that we only come out to assist the public during campaign seasons. We have been there for the Ugandans, of course, since the last 25 years, ensuring that every person can actually access justice. You know, access to justice is one of the crucial points, one of the fundamental aspects that one has to actually have as a citizen of this country, the right to have a dignified life. So when someone's rights are encroached, be it his electoral rights, his right to life, his right to liberty, when someone is detained, in case someone wants to deprive that person of probably his right to property. As a Uganda Law Society, we come in. We come in, and we have been coming in. And we are telling the public right now, since the election period is at the forefront, we are going to come out against any violations. And this is where we do encourage the security agencies. Of course, they are the biggest complaints come from them. I was reading the Human Rights Commission report that came out. Majority of complaints, especially as far as human rights violations are concerned, the security agencies were among the biggest violators. So we do encourage. These are security agencies, our brothers, yeah, relatives, yeah, husband, wife, yeah. Let's respect rule of law. And of course, even the citizens of this country, please respect the rule of law.
Now, when you talk about security agencies, this is where I want to ask you, how are you working with these security agencies to ensure they work with impartiality, but also observe the law? Because most of the times, for example, us in the media, we've been criticized sometimes for not telling the story right or for biasness. Most of the times we've seen bodies, activists looking at only one side because there is a story before the story you see. In my time as a reporter, I could remember where maybe a security van is passing through an area. They have done nothing. Maybe they are going to respond to some situation, and they are pelted with stones, and they are hurt. I've seen incidents where a security person is moving maybe in an area, and he doesn't know what has been happening there. Maybe he's heading home because simply he's putting on uniform, people gun around him, and the next is being walloped. So as we seek justice for the public, how are you bringing the security agencies on board? Because they, like you said, they're also human beings. They are brothers, they are sisters, they're husbands and maybe wives to people. So not to have this one-sided or them seeing you as biased. How are you working with them in this?
Yes, that is a very good question. As a Uganda Law Society, we have been having stakeholder engagements or meetings, and this has been throughout, especially the last year since we are heading into the elections. We have had various meetings with them, and we have tried to do sensitization amongst the security agencies, reminding them of their statutory duty, and also reminding the personnel there of their responsibilities and obligations. Of course, we do realize, like you said, that sometimes, especially now, we are seeing mass recruitment of special police constables, yeah, and sometimes they don't go through the necessary vigorous training to ensure that they know what actually entails them as police officers. So this is where we come out, where we have various engagements with them and reminding them that this is what the law says. If we detain someone, it has to be for 48 hours. Let's have investigations done prior to arrests. And of course, especially managing the public as well. And you manage with just gaining people? Can't you warn people in advance? Do you just have to probably tear gas them? Yeah, and where do you probably tear gas someone? You see, I've been seeing, and thanks to the media, where someone is tear gassed. Yeah, you see someone spraying directly in someone's eyes. Yeah, especially using the short the hand tear gases. So that is something that we continue to engage with the security agencies to tell them that please, we know it is a volatile situation, but we can ensure that that we protect each and everyone's rights. And of course, you talked about something very important, media freedom and digital rights. Yeah, the biggest worry, especially for Ugandans, thanks to the Minister, Honorable Tembo, who has categorically said that there won't be an internet shutdown. I believe the public has
but there was an however to that.
Yes, there is an however, but that is what he said.
If circumstances warrant a switch off,
the general principle is that there will be no digital, shutdown. We thank the Honorable Minister, and we pray that indeed they live up to what actually they have said, and also, of course, the public to behave. We normally see sometimes abuse, abuse, and that is where we continue to educate the masses that not everything is worth sharing, of course. Yeah, you share something and you're forgetting that this is, an accident happens. Let me give an example of an accident. An accident happens, then someone starts to post images. Someone is on the road. Arm is off, leg is off. Those are things that the public also needs to be taught. Not everything is for sharing. We know you have your right to share each and everything, but don't share each and everything. Of course, that is not a leeway to the stakeholders who are going to be involved in the election process to do shoddy things or to hide under the darkness of, let's say, worst case scenario, there is a shutdown, to do something which is wrong. We ensure and we believe that they are as transparent, security agencies are as independent as much as possible to ensure that the digital rights and media freedoms are actually respected. We, of course, realize that sometimes there is a rampant violation of media freedom, where we see the fourth estate. Recently, I saw a video where someone was being arrested, his camera was being damaged. We think that such attacks on the media not only infringe on their rights, but also infringe on the general rights of the Ugandans, because those are the people who actually give us what we see. They give us a narrative
of what is happening
as it happens. We can't be everywhere.
They simply tell the story.
Yes, just tell the story. We can't be everywhere.
I love that. Well, I'm still with Arthur Isiko, who is the treasurer of the Uganda Law Society, as we gear up for Thursday, when we will be going to the polls to elect our president and, of course, members of parliament. Now, let me go back to the voting, Arthur.
Yes.
What advice would you give to the public or a Ugandan out there who is not sure about their registration or actually the status of voting? Because there are Ugandans there that even up to now, much as voting is Thursday, they are still asking, where are you going to vote from? Are you going, Yes.
Yes, for the Ugandan who is out there, especially the one who is above 18 years and duly registered to vote.
Yes.
Please, for those who are digitally friendly, you can actually visit the Electoral Commission portal. There is a rollout of voters and where they are voting from. It is on the portal. You can actually see, where am I voting from? If you are voting from Kampala, there are so many polling stations in Kampala. You can actually find out.
So that is the Electoral Commission portal?
Yes, Electoral Commission. You can even physically move to the nearby Electoral Commission office. They are open. You can easily visit and actually confirm where you're voting from. For those who changed voting polling stations, maybe you're voting from Kampala, you want to vote from Namutumba. For those, they even further go ahead and give you some sort of a change in registration, change in where you've been voting from. They give you some sort of slip which can actually guide you even where you're going. Worst case scenario, in case probably they are finding challenges, that form can actually help you, and you can actually vote as a Ugandan. Of course, we encourage Ugandans to wake up early that day and actually go and vote. Don't wait up to 3, 4, then you want to go and vote. Please go early enough, vote, so that even the vote counting can also be done. Vote counting is also part of this exercise, and it actually starts, I think, at around 4, 5, so when people have actually finished voting. So that is our encourage to all the Ugandans out there. Please go in large numbers, vote the person of your choice. The vote should be yours. We don't want voter bribery, especially from the politicians out there. Don't bribe our citizens with sugar, with salt, because that is also a criminal offense. And it can actually lead to your disqualification at the end of the day. Let people exercise their free will. It is a matter of informing them what you intend to probably bring on the table on their behalf. And they will be free to actually exercise whatever decision they can actually take. Of course, we feel sorry for the political prisoners out there. It is quite alarming, it is quite sad. And in fact, if you have been following the Tanzania elections, it was so bad for them. And one of the analysis on the board is that probably the arrest of Tindisu, one of the biggest political actors, had he been released, maybe shouldn't have been as it is. So this is where we as the Uganda Law Society, we call upon the powers that be. Yeah, these people can be out there on bail. We have one of our own, Sarah Bidete. She can actually be on bail or bond. Kanukiza Besiji and others, the political prisoners out there.
Good, I'm talking to a lawyer. You said your rationale is the law, and you know very well how the law operates.
Yes.
And of course, certain things, what qualifies one for bail, also the discretion that the judge has.
Yes.
So the law is very tricky, I must say.
Yes, and that is why we say equal treatment of all parties. Yeah, people should be treated equally. There shouldn't be any bending or favoritism of one personnel or one entity towards the other. We do believe that we are all equal before the eyes of the law. For the political actors, if you are told that you should follow a certain trail, that has been the biggest challenge we have with the opposition political parties in this country. There is a political route that a trail that someone has been told to use, and then you find them using another route. Yeah, of course, all in the sense of provoking security agencies. Yeah, that is bad.
Because sometimes these are also some of the campaigning mechanisms. Clashing with the police. Sometimes is a campaigning tool. One, it brings in sympathy, and you know this very well. That sympathy votes matter so much. We've seen so many people that have shrived on a sympathy vote. So some of these things may be intentional, and others may not be intentional. So we can't rule out. Sometimes the security forces may go overboard, or sometimes the candidate. I remember one. There is a video that was circulating on social media where someone was being told, he said, "You've blocked me from going." Someone said, "But no, this is the nearest route to where you're going, and it's better. Why are you insisting?
Why are you taking a longer route?
Why are you taking
4 hours?"
You know, even the officer was confused. But this one had their intention.
That is wrong. And we, like I've said, some people use such tactics technically to achieve sympathy, which is wrong. Which is wrong, because at the end of the day, there are third parties who have to exercise, who have to enjoy their rights. Who doesn't know that a trail disrupts business? Who doesn't know that? If people campaigning past nearby your shop, I can assure you there will be some disruption.
Very much.
You won't experience, people won't come to buy. Or if it's a shop, no one will come to buy. We know that. We know that. And that
recently I was complaining on this show where one of the candidates chose, I don't know for what purpose. He has this truck full of public address systems. Then he comes, parks next to my gate. And he was there for about 40 minutes.
That is really wrong.
Making a lot of noise on this date, vote so and so. The things are shouting, you know. And I asked myself, but for sure, why would you violate my right? And that sometimes you're held up, there's not much you can do because he has some people on top, and then he moves to another person's, just like that. So sometimes I think much as Uganda Law Society is advocating for your rights during this period, please also remember that there are other people who have their rights as well.
Exercise the rights.
This also includes security personnel. Recently, I saw these young boys, they have recruited the special police constables. They were walking in a line. I was moving through Kabalagala, and some men were just excited when, you know, they recruited both male and female. You know, and you're like, but excuse me, why would you provoke come, I marry you instead of what? And they are walking, but these are humans also. Where provocation, where we are going. This is a time where you need to be very conscious of your security and your actions. Because believe you, anything can make security suspicious and move into action. By the time they find out that you're innocent, maybe so much damage has been done.
Yes.
So it's wise enough for you to ensure that you do things right and proper. Now also, Arthur, let's go to candidates. This time we've had quite some candidates denominated. And I'm sure they may appear on the ballot papers. Because time has not allowed to have...
make an alteration.
Yes, so how should the public verify these incidents?
Of course, the public has to be vigilant.
Someone moves away saying
the public has to be vigilant, and the Electoral Commission has to continue doing sensitization. Because that is something that we are discussing with the African Union observers, and they're also talking about the same issue. That people have been denominated, and leave on the issue of even people staying on the ballot paper. But there's also a scenario where someone was duly nominated by the EC, and then someone is struck off. Yeah, we believe, I think Electoral Commission has to be funked as official. This has happened in Nigeria. In Nigeria, by the way, perhaps we're just seeing it here. But in Nigeria, it happened during the times of Jonathan Goodluck, yeah, where the Electoral Commission in that country had the capacity to denominate, and it was creating confusion. Yeah, in fact, the powers that be in Nigeria had to amend the law and say if someone has been nominated by the Electoral Commission, he can only be denominated by the High Court. Because you can't say you verified me and then you say now, okay, we have remembered we verified you wrongly, and therefore throw you out of...
we received a petition with evidence.
That is wrong, and we are documenting, and we're going to send recommendations to Parliament and the security and the stakeholders that be. The functus official principle has to apply to Electoral Commission. Once they nominate, hands down. It has to be now the High Court too. Actually denominate. And of course this is important. Why? Because it creates some form of fairness. It creates some form of fairness. And then too, it also helps in, let's say, planning purposes. You have talked about something very important, that we are seeing a scenario where people are going to be voting, people who have been thrown out of the race. Yeah? What will happen to their choices? It will even have a substantiality effect. You might find that some areas people are going to be winning positions with a few votes, and probably that is because of that challenge. So as the Uganda Law Society, we believe right now it might be late because nothing much can be done, but going forward, we believe such changes should actually be worked on. We shouldn't have a similar situation happening, and it should be worked on by the powers that be. Of course, that takes me to one of the very important roles of the Uganda Law Society throughout this election period. Of course, we are going to ensure that our members, they are voters, but at the same time they are going to be observers.
Have they been accredited by the Electoral Commission?
By observers, what I mean that whatever is going to be happening as lawyers, we shall be in the watch.
Okay.
We shall be in the watch as lawyers. We shall watch whatever is happening. We shall receive complaints. Like I've said, we have a toll-free number where we are going to receive complaints from the public. Yeah, any person threatening your right to vote, yeah, please complain, and this shouldn't be one-sided. Yeah, we know this happens on all sides, where people receive challenges from different political actors, and of course we shall be visiting detention centers. Visiting the lawyers out there in the public, shall be visiting all the police stations where complaints probably have been channeled. Yeah, we shall visit and ensure that people's rights are protected throughout that detention process, and at the same time we shall document, like I've said, yeah, and then of course by documenting we shall report nationally, yeah, throughout we shall make complaints at police or any security agencies. We shall make complaints at courts of law, even to the Electoral Commission. We shall complain, yeah, if there are any violations, because we believe we can only ensure this peacefully if we work together, yeah, to ensure that there is a free and fair participation of all the citizens in this entire election process. Yes.
Now, a person out there, well, there is redress, at least the Uganda Law Society, in case of these violations, genuine violations, in case they do happen. But our prayer is that we do not have them. Now, I have a question coming in here. It says, what's Uganda Law Society's stance on the role of the judiciary in resolving electoral disputes, and how can citizens trust the process? Yes,
judiciary plays a very, very important role, especially during and probably post-election. I think for the High Court, that is where a majority of parliamentary disputes arising from the election process are taken. Vote counting, etc., sometimes happens in the magistrate's court. And of course, the limelight of the day, the presidential, goes to the Supreme Court. Yeah, it plays a very, very important role, and this is where we ask for they should stand and understand that there is independence of the judiciary. Sometimes it is quite sad that there is that perception. Yeah, the members perceive sometimes the judiciary as being either interfered with. Yeah, when you look at their decisions as a member of the public, sometimes you think that maybe there is some interference. But of course, our court, the judiciary, we believe you play a very important role, and we continue to play that important role because you are the arbiters. Yeah, you are the arbiters who resolve these disputes, and they should be done timely. This thing of someone filing a complaint after elections and receiving the judgment after 5 years doesn't make sense. We have seen it before. Yes, where someone filed a file in the High Court and he received the fruits of the judgment after the term had expired. I know today, this time around, judicial officers, let these matters be handled in a timely manner. Yeah, so that at the end of the day, justice can be seen to be done. Justice can be seen. So judiciary plays an important role. And of course, we as lawyers, we are also court officers. Yeah. At the end of the day, that is why I was telling you that we are going to be watching. We shall be telling what we saw with our eyes, what we witnessed, what we heard. Yeah, we shall play a very important role too as the Uganda Law Society to ensure that members out there enjoy. You know, rule of law is the cornerstone of democracy. Rule of law is the cornerstone of democracy. If people don't abide by the law, it is not good. Yeah, and definitely. That is why we re-echo that, so that members can understand that. Follow the law. Don't take matters in your hands. Yeah? Don't do things that are out of order. Follow order, because it is in the best interest of the society.
I love that emphasis, follow the law, and this does not only go to security operatives. It goes to you, the members of the public as well. For whatever you're going to do, please interest yourself in knowing what the law says. For example, on the polling day, how are you dressed? Are you within the confines of the law? Are you conforming to the laws? These yellow t-shirts with portraits of candidates, the red t-shirts, if the law is very clear, please do not go to a polling station with anything being seen to be a campaign symbol.
True.
Don't wear that cape. So are you aware of the do's and don'ts? Otherwise, you're going to cast your vote, then you're stopped because you're putting on a shirt symbolizing a party. Now you cause fracas. Leave me, it is my right, it is my right. People gather, the next is receipt tear gas. a security officer deployed at a polling station. People are coming, moving in gently, voting and going. You know, or there is a small misunderstanding. Are you using reasonable force or excessive force? So if all of us follow the law, I am very sure we shall have a very peaceful election. It takes all of us to be responsible enough. Most of the times we think we shall behave the way we behave, but then security agencies must be professional.
True.
And that is what I don't understand. When someone thinks they'll behave the way they should behave. Recently, there was some candidate I won't mention. He was returning to his place. And I was caught up at that time. I was going to that side. And I looked at these young boys. The way they were driving, they were riding, flooding the road. And I'm like, please, please. Some of us are heading somewhere. Now, when police comes in to disperse such crowds, then you're like, but could be a tear gas. You're not responsible enough. And also sometimes for security forces, I don't know, but I think sometimes there's excitement as well. Certain things can be let go. Or sometimes use reasonable force. Reasonable force. But sometimes, or is it because some of them are young, or they're, you see that, I don't want to say trigger happy, but you wonder, was this called for? Really, wasn't this a better way of doing this? Well, I'm not an expert in security, but what I'm saying is following the law and being considerate of situations. Some actions, the candidates, today is their last day of campaigning. The statements you make today also will determine how this election is going to be. Well, Arthur, I must let you go, but I just want your final remark.
Yes, thank you so much. My final remark to the Ugandans out there, please turn out in large numbers. Please go and cast your vote. Please cast the vote rightly. Use your inner conscience to vote who you think is the best candidate. To the security agencies out there, please, like my brother said, let's act reasonably. Let's handle each situation reasonably. To the Ugandans out there, please also act reasonably, because in doing so, we shall be able to have a peaceful election. If there are any challenges you face along the way, or any issues that you think you need to seek redress from, especially legal, please feel free to reach out to our toll-free number, which is on the screen. That is 0800 355 355. We shall be able to swing into action to assist you, and we assist any member of the public. Don't fear and say Uganda Law Society is only going to help people on the opposition. No, for us we help each and every one. Any person, as long as you're a human being, we assist the members of the public in all matters, and we do that at a free cost. Don't fear that you will be charged any money by the society. No, we shall do each and everything freely.
Well, I have to read a few messages here. This one says, good morning, presenter. I'm not near my polling station. Is there a way I can vote in another area? I'm Ogeng Charles. And also I have one, good morning, I'm not yet. Okay, good morning. For me, have not yet gotten my national identification card. I'm not yet. Okay, I think he meant that and I've gotten it. As we think of observing human rights, my kind request is, even people in uniform are human and they deserve rights, and they have rights and they deserve justice as well. Ismail expressed the Fort Potro. Thank you for your message. And is the police supposed to harass human rights during the campaigns of candidates? Don't know what he meant, harass human rights. Now, this one says, good morning, Nama Sisi from Mbale. Thank you for the show. Have left everything for God and my country. Greetings goes to Nambozo Slivia from Mosota. Okay. And finally, from Ginger City. In Ginger City, okay, let's end it at that. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you so much, Arthur.
Thank you so much
for being part of this show. Yeah. And I pray that we have a smooth running in these elections. And of course, the lawyers, you said you'll be there to document all this. Please don't fear to report such cases, because we know that some violations, unless we set precedents by holding these accountable, certain things will continue. So in case of these things, make sure you gather the evidence, pile them, and then we see after. Well, I'll leave you for now. Keep it with us on UBC TV. More is coming. It is still Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My fellow Ugandan, this is Judge Yoweri Kaguta Museveni speaking. For many years together, we have built peace, stability, and progress. These are the gains that have transformed our country and improved the lives of millions. As we move towards this qualitative leap to a middle-income country, let us continue protecting these gains by working hard, supporting our families, increasing the PDM funds from 100 million to 200 million per parish, and promoting peace in our communities. Uganda's success depends on each of us doing our part with integrity, discipline, and patriotism. Together, we shall secure our future and build a prosperous Uganda for generations to come. This is Judge Museveni, old man with a heart, with gratitude and commitment to you.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Electing your leaders at various elective positions is your fundamental human right. Here's how to cast your vote safely and correctly. Step 1. Go to the polling station where you're registered. Step 2. Present your national ID or voter location slip for officials to confirm your name on the register. Step 3. Your identity is verified using the Biometric Voter Verification Kit, fingerprint or face scan. Biometric verification is mandatory to ensure only eligible voters vote. Step 4. Your ballot is scanned and issued to guarantee it's valid. Step 5. Mark your choice in secret, cast your ballot, and get inked. Polling runs from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Your identity protected, your vote secure. Turn up and vote. My vote, my voice.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Akasente kasoka nkafuna nagwa munkuki enkoko edabadukulu bange eruyo kabiri pinafuna eruyo kubiri nata munkuki akabizi ngangulya ki kiegulya ngulya badukulu bange ndikole government enambi mubukebona empeku iki akasente nganimwe munkuki ekyokulya ekyabadukulu bange. Ati ebintu byenfuna okuyambibwa mbe nsaba gavumenti obusente bwetugwa butono bungi nga nkusaba ebe etugemereku etwongezeku tigati nze n'ebizibu nga ebyobulwaire omuntu amaiso gasiwulira omugongo guliuki guluma era ebigero birima bume n'essaawa eyo nfuna nkozesa ki eddagala ery'ekirugavu mpakirikola nga nsaba gavumenti ebe etwongerewo kasente. Ndikusiima gavumenti ebintu bino buyalambala n'alowooza ati bejja okutwala kambafune kuyo ki obuyambi nga tukikoze ki titumusabye kyaba kirowoozo kye kyamukulu waife atutwala.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all. The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Ninyo dunozio kajimba mchinane na gumu. Sauda ninyo ni mwanzaji. Jisti ya kabali. Mbaka tueta. Batwesi bazira muno mwene yakenge twaje bagambi. Kandi wali wanu umunakazitu. Umunakazitu yobuzarwa. Bashanga twikiri. Basibiko twagira ki. Bakatugandika twakwate site. Sinyambire n'abana banje nibazogera. Abana banje nabo umwe aje musigara cyambo musina ya mukaga. Ndi aje musina ya kabira rushoroza aha. Ndi hano kwa university. Tubona kuna Uganda tinembuzi. Amene nago matafari. Ngashima kagurane na arkeji na mabali haliya. Kandi nesedi kanya abo bana nina manyumba cyakavu nuko batine kasete hako nabone nsima nabone nsima vampiro yandi setu akatwire kasete kita ko bugunsi kandi bacyari bakahabana keje mu Rwanda bahana bo kupaba na keje kuri tutu bakatwire.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all.
My fellow Ugandan, this is Jaja Kaguta Museveni speaking. For many years together, we have built peace, stability, and progress. These are the gains that have transformed our country and improved the lives of millions. As we move towards this qualitative leap to a middle-income country, let us continue protecting these gains by working hard, supporting our families, increasing the PDM funds from 100 million to 200 million per parish, and promoting peace in our communities. Uganda's success depends on each of us doing our part with integrity, discipline, and patriotism. Together, we shall secure our future and build a prosperous Uganda for generations to come. This is Jaja Museveni, old man with a heart, with gratitude and commitment to you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. We are live on UBC, broadcasting from Nile Avenue, where the headquarters of UBC are situated. And thank you for accompanying us this morning. And of course, it is election week. We as Ugandans are heading to the general polls. It's just one day away. Only registered Ugandan voters will be casting their ballots at 7 a.m. across the country to pick their next president and members of parliament. Other lower tier government voting will follow subsequently. And because elections are high stake, the exercise is often fraught with suspicion, tension, and in some cases full of clashes. And this is the reason as to why today we are going to have an expert view or views from an expert about how you as a voter or you the electorate are supposed to conduct yourselves during this election, or what you as a voter you need to know. And of course you can share your views on WhatsApp. Only WhatsApp. Do not call on 0709 602592. You can send your view just there via a message. And online, we do have Mr. Mugweri Geoffrey, the PRO of 3N Consultants, so that he can share his 2 cents of what a voter needs to know in Uganda. But Robert, before we head to Mr. Mugweri, so far, how is the atmosphere in regards to what voters need to be in the know when casting their vote?
Well, I must say, to a certain extent, we've had voter education, not sufficient enough, but the candidates themselves have tried so much because they know how that invalid vote that is intended to be theirs has an impact on them. So I've seen a number of candidates. I've had a number of candidates on their campaign trails educating their supporters. Please, when you go, don't tick the face, tick the box, don't do this. So voter education as regards how to vote has been done. And many Ugandans, of course, we've voted over and over. So a number of them know that actually when I go to the box, when I receive my paper, it's been verified, I'll tick in the box of the candidate of my choice, not their face. So that they have done. What a voter must do and conduct themselves at a polling station is where you have issues.
Okay.
Because even at the polling station, there are do's and don'ts. You may move with your pen, or that you're going to find there, and you find yourself, you've not been permitted to the polling station.
Okay, we are going to have a deeper analysis from Mr. Mugweri Geoffrey, the PRO of 3N Consultants. Mr. Mugweri, good morning to you.
Good morning, Joan, and our dear viewers and listeners. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year too. We are just one day away from the polls. What is a voter supposed to know in this sense? Who is eligible to vote in Uganda?
Thank you so much, Joan. It has always been a pleasure to have an opportunity and have a discussion about the elections. We are in the very last lap of this exercise. By law, elections are supposed to commence on 15th, that is Thursday, and the campaigns are supposed to end today. I want to implore all the stakeholders who are involved in the campaign process not to forget that campaigns are stopping today by 6 p.m. Now, we are set. Yesterday we had an opportunity to get a briefing from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission at Mistil Hotel. He was having a briefing with both local and international observers of the elections, and I was part of that interaction. He was trying to show that the Ugandan people the preparedness of this exercise. We also had an opportunity to interact with the Inspector General of Police and everything seems to be set. Now, what is required of the voters is simple. First of all, present yourself at the polling station. Polling starts at exactly 7 a.m. and it stops at 4 p.m. It is within that period that a voter will have an opportunity to choose a leader of his or her choice. The process has been ongoing. People have been moving around the country. Several candidates have been traversing their respective constituencies and districts, trying to sell their manifestos to the potential voters. I want to believe that the voters at this time, or by the closure of business today at 6 p.m., every voter will be now in position to have made up his or her mind to take a decision of choosing a leader accordingly. Now, once you present yourself at the polling station, there are processes which will be taken you through. First of all, we also want to imagine we have made several calls and appeals for people to go and pick their voter location slips. The voter location slips is a document which is issued by the Electoral Commission to all registered voters, detailing where you're supposed to vote, confirming your vote, your polling station. Now, if you do not have the voter location slip, we want to encourage you to move with your national ID. The essence of having these two documents is to make it easier for the Electoral Commission officials to identify you biometrically, so that it can be proved that actually your true identity matches with what is in the database of the National Register. And once it has been proved that you are an eligible voter at that particular polling station, you will be issued with 3 ballot papers. 1 ballot paper is for the president. The 2nd ballot paper is for the directly elected member of parliament. The 3rd ballot paper is for the woman district representative in parliament. And you'll respectively take your choices. You'll start by ticking your choice for the presidency and cast it in the respective box for the presidency. After that, you'll continue to the next table or the next benson, and you take a choice of your directly elected member of parliament and also place that ballot after folding it lengthwise. You will also place it in the respective box. Lastly, you will also go to the next basin where you take a choice for the district woman representative of your choice, and also fold that ballot lengthwise and place it in the box. After that, there will be a polling official, polling assistant, who will put an ink on your thumb to confirm that actually you have voted and therefore you cannot vote for the 2nd time. The essence of having that identification through the biometrics, which is either through the fingerprints or the facials, it is to confirm that actually we are ensuring that it is 1 man, 1 vote, 1 woman, 1 vote.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mugweri. Of course, a question coming up. If someone has a national ID and a voter slip, but their name does not appear in the National Voters Register, will they be allowed to vote?
Certainly not. I have kept on emphasizing through my various programs, I have kept on emphasizing and teaching what it takes for one to be allowed to vote. Being of age, the Ugandan laws tell us that actually you can only register to be a voter when you have made 18 years. Being of age and having a national identification card does not necessarily qualify you to be on the national register if you did not register to be a national voter. Like I've kept on telling you before, that elections is not an event. This is not something which is happening for a day. it has been a process. There was a time when the Electoral Commission rolled out the roadmap for the elections of 2025-2026. And Ugandans were requested, they were encouraged to go to their respective polling stations of their choices to register. That is the time when they were even updating the national register. So my brother and sister, you ought to have registered as a voter, and that is when you can have an opportunity to choose your leader. That is by law. Otherwise, having a national identification card alone without you appearing in the national register. Like, for example, you may have to understand, Joan, that the Electoral Commission gave us data that actually the registered voters in Uganda are 21 million plus. But remember, we are more than 21 million people in Uganda who are actually above 18 years. Therefore, it is only the 21 million plus who are in the national register, who are eligible to vote. I think I've been clear and loud.
That's very profound.
Now, Mugweri, also please take us through the do's and don'ts at a polling station. We don't want to see voters coming with all that is needed to vote, but then they do not access the polling station because they're not in confine with the laws.
Thank you so much, my brother. Let me take this opportunity to highlight a few things which are critical. First of all, by the mere fact that we are stopping official campaigns today at 6 p.m., it is also an opportunity for Ugandans and eligible voters to understand this. When we go to the polling, the law prohibits any kind of conduct or behavior that intends to influence the decision of people when it comes to voting. This can be, for example, once we are in the polling station, we do not encourage, and please note this, just simply go to the polling station without donning your party colors. If you go with your party colors, that would be perceived as if you're still trying to convince people to take choices of that color. Therefore, I want to encourage all Ugandans who are preparing to vote that on the day of voting, please avoid moving with placards, with posters of candidates. Actually, at the polling stations, in case there is any poster or placards of the various respective candidates, those materials are supposed to be pulled down so that the polling station does not have any material of a particular candidate. For example, if you are leaving your house to go and vote and you belong to a particular color, remember these colors are assigned, these parties are assigned different colors which prescribe, which indicates that actually if somebody dons these particular colors, that person belongs to that particular party. Therefore, I want to encourage Ugandans that please, on the day of voting, you shouldn't appear in a manner that may directly link you to a particular party, because that act will be interpreted differently by other people coming to vote. It will be like a sign of influence, and therefore the law does not allow that. Secondly, you're supposed to appear at the polling station when you are actually very sober. You should be in your right senses. You should not be violent. You should appear at the polling station and follow strict guidelines by the Electoral Commission.
Drunkards are not permitted anywhere.
No.
You know, those could have spent a day rejoicing, and by the time they come, they are staggering or signs of drunkenness.
Actually, actually, when you have taken alcohol beyond limits, it may even impair your judgment. You may even reach the polling station and make mistakes. But besides that, it is very likely that a drunkard will actually cause chaos. And it might be the cause of violence at polling stations. Therefore, we want to encourage calm, we want to encourage peace, and we want to encourage tolerance and respect. Above all, there are stakeholders who are mandated to manage these processes. We have got security, we have got electoral commission officials, we have got the observers. Please simply leave your house prepared to go and take a choice. And remember, your choice is sacred. You do not need to share the choices you have made at different positions with others. The ballot is sacred, and you do not need to campaign at the polling stations. We have got incidences where certain agents of candidates keep campaigning and convincing people to vote their candidates, even on the polling station. The law prohibits that, and that one may amount to some consequences which may not be good for your candidate.
I've seen some people after voting and taking a candidate of their choice, they display, they hold the paper and rotate to signify, yes, I've given this person my vote. What do you make of that? I saw it last elections. Someone in the box after ticking, out of excitement, even folds and shows, yes, I've voted for so and so, then drops it in the box or bucket.
It may not necessarily be an offense, but it may not be a good practice as well. That act alone may actually interfere with other processes. And besides, the law is very clear that we shall be casting our votes separately.
Yes.
But at times, like you have said, there are certain people who have not respected that provision of the law, and they have gone ahead. Others actually, at times it rotates around the relationship of people at the particular polling stations. For example, if I have got a brother who is contesting, or a friend, and that friend thinks that actually I am not supporting him, I may want to prove that actually I have voted for that person so that he does not have any beef with me. We have had such cases to the extent of even telling an agent of that candidate that please you come and tick on my behalf. Such practices are not encouraged because the vote is supposed to be sacred. And I wouldn't wish that such practice should be encouraged.
Okay. Mr. Mugweri, of course, you mentioned causing disturbances at a polling station may cause arrest of a voter. What are the other offences that electoral offences that voters should avoid at the polling stations?
Yeah, thank you so much, Joanne. I had just talked about bribing of voters. The campaigns stop today at 6 p.m. Now, once a voter is seen being bribed, whoever is attempting to bribe a voter, and including the voter who is accepting the bribe, that is an electoral offense. Secondly, violence. We have kept on emphasizing, and we shall keep emphasizing up to the last minute. Please don't fight at the polling station. Don't disturb the peace of others. You are supposed to exercise your rights, but that right is not absolute. Once you are exercising your right and stepping on others' rights, it automatically becomes another issue, and the course of the law will take its place. Therefore, you don't need to be a drunkard at the polling station. You don't need to cause violence. You don't need to disobey the guidelines. Once you violate those simple instructions, you will certainly find yourself with issues which are not necessary. Therefore, I want to encourage Ugandans who are preparing to vote on Thursday. don't violate the guidelines. The Electoral Commission has got officials at every polling station, and the essence of those officials is to take you through the process. I want to encourage Ugandans to be obedient, to follow strict instructions as they will be taken through by the officials. Once you reach the polling station, there is a police constable who will usher you in, and the essence and the reason why we have the police constable is to maintain and keeping law and order. Therefore, if you have been instructed to go through a particular process, kindly follow it, cast your vote, as simple as that. No one is going to have issues with you if you have followed the guidelines.
Now, also, all along you've been talking about the agents. Briefly educate the public who is an agent, and at the polling station, how will these agents be identified? Reason being, I've seen people who campaign for particular candidates. They are very key and pivotal during the campaign period. Now, what usually happens on the polling day, because they have been so close to the candidate, moved with the candidate, someone comes up and tells the polling constable, I'm an agent of this candidate. Now, you find almost everyone who was on the campaign trail says, I'm an agent, I'm an agent. On polling day, who is that agent that is recognized by the law, and what is their mandate on that very day?
Thank you so much. The law provides for every candidate to have 2 official agents at a polling station. And these agents must appear at the polling station with introductory letters from their candidates or from their respective political parties. It is strictly 2 who are allowed to access the polling station, and the purpose of the official agents of candidates is to take care of the candidate's interests. For example, to ensure that he or she monitors what is taking place, so that there is nothing which takes place like fraud, so that that person actually witnesses the whole process, right from issuance of the ballots, how ballots are cast, and how the votes are counted. The polling agent of particular respective candidates have got that responsibility of taking care of the interests of their candidates. For example, at the stage of counting votes, the agents must leave the polling station well knowing what the votes their respective candidates have actually polled at that particular polling station. They even sign on the official declaration forms of results, so that there is no candidate who may have any doubt, who may think that actually the process has not favored him or it has favored a particular candidate. That is the work of the agent. But before accessing the polling station, that agent must come with a letter from the political organization, that is if the candidate has the party, or from the candidate whom that agent is coming to represent. And the law allows only 2. And they are supposed to be in the polling station to witness. Actually, in most cases, others even come with a copy of the register of that polling station, so that he can actually monitor whether the number of the votes cast do actually tally with the number of the voters who are in the register. So that is basically the work of the polling agent. For example, if we have 10 candidates contesting for directly elected member of parliament, we expect to have 20 agents, because every candidate is allowed to have 2. At the level of the presidency, for example, we have 8 presidential candidates. We expect to have 16 in the polling station to see and monitor and take care of the interests of their respective candidates.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mugweri Geoffrey. Yes, issues at times do arise. Some of the voters get to the polling stations, but they do not know what to do, where to take or where to put a thumbprint. Who at the polling station is supposed to assist a voter who is in doubt?
Well, we anticipate that actually there can be some cases that fall in that category. It is strictly the polling officials. It is the polling officials who are supposed to assist in directing voters who may fall in that category. For example, we have the presiding officers, the polling assistants. They are charged with the responsibility of ensuring that every voter who has come to cast his or her vote is taken through the process smoothly without influencing anything. Therefore, it is not the agents, but the polling officials who are recruited by the Electoral Commission who will assist the voter who has got issues with taking a decision. By the way, it is not even about influencing that voter's decision, but to help that voter. For example, if the voter does not know how to mark, he can be helped by the polling official to put a thumbprint in the right place of his choice. Remember, the ballot is arranged in a way that first of all we have got the name of the candidate. The next step, the next space is the photo of that candidate, and in the next step is the symbol. For example, if Joan Mulungi is a candidate for member of parliament for a particular district, we shall have her name, we shall have her photo. If, for example, she is from the political party called National Resistance Movement, they use the bus, and there will be a bus indicating that Joan Mulungi, the photo is there and the symbol is the bus. And in the next box, it is where you are supposed to put your thumbprint or a tick. Now, if you have issues, either visual issues, your vision is not so clear, you can reveal that condition of yours to the polling officials at the polling station, and you tell that person to help you cast your vote in favor of a particular candidate by either putting a tick in the box or putting a thumbprint against the box of your choice.
Okay, now also let's now go to the hard nut to crack. Something that has become controversial. However, you said you were at the meeting where we had the IGP and the chairman of the Electoral Commission. The issue of voters staying or leaving after casting their vote. Please clarify on this.
First of all, this is something which had generated some kind of controversy. Even yesterday, it was raised when the chairperson of the Electoral Commission was briefing the domestic and international observers who have come to observe this process. Let me make it very clear. We are not voting for the first time in Uganda. And I don't think this particular provision of the law has just been provided for. It has been around. Why is it coming up right now? I think it's about misinformation. And I want to demystify the misinformation regarding this very contentious issue. What is provided for in the law is that actually a voter can choose to either go away after casting his or her vote, or if he so wishes, can stay 20 meters away from the polling station. That is what is provided for in the law. It has been clarified. However, why has there been a concern that actually people are being drummed up, people are encouraged to stay around the polling stations? That is not so necessary. The voters know what to do. The voters have got what to do after casting their votes. Whoever wishes and has got the time, he or she may actually stay away as prescribed in the law in terms of the distance. But the concern is, much as the law is talking about that, but does the law operate in a vacuum? How about other considerations?
Yeah.
For example, at the polling station, I've already told you that they are agents of the polling of the respective different candidates. If we have a particular polling station which has, if we have a constituency which has, for example, 15 people contesting for members of parliament, you already have 30 people in terms of agents of those respective candidates inside the polling station. You have the polling officials, you have the police constable, you have the presidents having agents. Now, given the nature of our polling stations, assuming a polling station has got 600 voters and say maybe 550 turn up to vote, if all of them chose to stay at the polling station 20 meters away, what would you expect? Where are the services which are going to make those people comfortable in that particular place? Staying around from 7 a.m. up to possibly 7 when they have finished counting the votes. Is that practically possible? Where are they going to have meals? Where are they going to ease themselves from? Do we have those provisions in place? Besides, if they have chosen all of them to stay around, don't you think there's a likelihood of having a security concern? I don't think we should take this thing in bad faith. Much as the law says you are at liberty to stay around 20 meters from the polling station, it shouldn't be something which should be taken as if it is a do or die. Particularly, I want to give my example. I don't want to imagine that by 7, if I'll be at the polling station, I can afford to stay at the polling station. It is not only me. Many people have got so many things to do. I can afford to go and cast my vote. I move away, I do my other things. I come back later at maybe 4 when they are now going to start counting the ballots, and then I witness the process. That is how I can explain about that scenario.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Amugweri. We are tackling what you, the voter, needs to know as you head to cast your vote. Some of the comments are coming in. This one did not put their name, but she says, but we heard of network being blocked. Is it true? And then, good morning, Uganda. This is Odaro Vicent from Tororo. By now, the voters must have decided who to vote, because they have listened to the manifestos of candidates. Come that day, go in peace and vote a person of your choice secretly and avoid making the vote invalid. And then this is Alex from Ginger City. His question is, he works from another place and he votes from a different place. He forgot to pick his voter slip and national identity card got lost some 3 weeks ago. But I have a confirmation letter. Will I use that for this exercise? And of course, coming in from Bahati Emmanuel Nduhanga from Kasese. Could you please assure us that this time round, the biometric machines shall not be reported out of functioning or spoiled with intention of rigging? I think he meant rigging votes. I don't know if it's always the intention. And then, good morning, presenters who are in the show now. If Uganda is having a population of 45 million people, but only 21 million people are registered to vote, because what I know, a quarter of that balance are children and others who are not eligible to vote. Does it mean that some people have not picked their national identity cards? Coming in, good morning, Uganda. He's still typing. So yes, Mr. Mugweri, someone here is asking, I think it's supposed to be for the Electoral Commission, if something concerning the biometric machines. Expert we are having is giving his expertise on what you should know. But of course, Robert, we cannot desist from, we cannot commit ourselves to the roles of UCC.
Well, at least for UCC, I want to quote the words of Honorable Nyombi Tembo, the Executive Director of UCC. He said, internet, he assured Ugandans, will be on. However, there's an however or a but to that. He said, if circumstances warrant, because he gave 3 parties that can direct him to switch off the internet. He said, if we find out that that date's being abused, remember they gave some guidelines. No live streaming, no covering violence, and then you're posting and all that. Now, if Ugandans abuse the internet that day, and for security purposes, they see it worthy switching off the internet, it will be switched off. If security expresses, says, well, for us to avoid the situation from escalating, so I think it goes back to us Ugandans, how we will use the internet that day, or in this period starting on Thursday until the final declaration of results. If we don't abuse it, maybe, but he didn't assure Ugandans that they will not. He said, we will not, but if there are situations that warrant, then this can happen. Because you can't compromise national security in case something is being used.
Okay, good morning, UBC. I'm Anthony. To me, I think if we all Ugandans go to vote in mind with peace, there can be nothing of harm. Let's go and vote. Hello, UBC. Good morning. You say that campaigns end today at 6 p.m., but candidate, 6 p.m., yes, but I think this message, I think he is still typing a bit here. And then coming in from Sarah Nyamitanga Ambara, she says, good morning, Uganda. I don't have a vote paper, but I have ID. I think she meant a voter slip. And where can I find another paper? Over to you, Mr. Mugweri.
Thank you so much, Joan. Let me quickly go through the concerns of, I will start with that one of Alex from Jinja. He says he has not gotten the voter location slip. At the same time, he lost the national ID. As long as you're very sure that you appear in the national register, please, you can even access your voter location slip online. Go to the National Electoral Commission website, that is ec.or.ug, voter location slip, fill in your NIN. I want to imagine you have your NIN, and then you'll get the voter location slip. You can have it and go with it to your respective polling station and you'll cast a vote. However, even without that, in the case you are afraid to still access it, you can still present yourself at the polling station. They will try, the polling officials will take you through, and once you go through the biometrics and your identity is clearly identified, you will be in position to vote. Now, somebody talked about, he had a concern about the biometric machines, the kit having some malfunctions and failure. Well, those concerns have been raised before. We raised them with the Electoral Commission, and these are the assurances we got. First of all, every polling station has been allocated 2 biometric voter verification kits. And we have been assured by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission that a particular one of every machine, every kit has got a lifespan of the battery for close between 15 and 17 hours. However, there is also that backup in case one kit has got an issue. There is another one which can come in and it works. Besides that, in the event that in an unlikely scenario, both of them have got issues, there are teams which are placed at sub-counties, the technical team, which will be simply be on call to come and rectify the issue. But we don't want to think that that one is likely to happen, because at least at a very polling station there are two biometric kits. So I think that concern is taken care of. I don't know whether Odaro from Tororo was simply appreciating. I think he was also echoing my appeal that by now we expect voters to have clearly taken the message of different contenders, and we expect a peaceful electoral process starting on Thursday, that is 15th.
Okay, Francis Okongo, every Ugandan has already made up their mind of whom to vote for, and my prayer is only peace and transparency in all polling stations, for we still love our motherland. Let us all go and vote our respective person of our choice. Someone asks, when will the polling officials vote, since the machines are station-specific? Edward in Kampala. And Adams Lee from Soroti, if I'm blind but I have my little grandson, can he vote for me when I go with him together at the polling station? Good morning, UBC. Hassan from Makinde. Where can I get voter's card? I think he meant voter slip or voter's card. And a voter makes the lines up to the table for the longest hour. After reaching to the table, the person who is there in charge, or him or her, asks him to join another line. Someone there showing some frustration, could be from the previous elections. Mr. Mugweri, over to you, sir.
I don't know whether I've picked that one very well. The concern was being switched from another line to another line. That one I don't see it being very much applicable. The process is you cannot bypass a particular step. For example, when you appear, when you present yourself at a particular polling station, you go through a particular process. There are steps. There are various steps. The first step is the polling constable to direct you, to usher you in and take you to where there is the register. And that identification, confirmation of your identification in the register is done by the BVK kit. Now, from there, it is to the next step. Once you have been once the machine indicates a green, that actually your credentials are actually the same, which are in the national database. It means now you are supposed to proceed to a next step. The queue which you are supposed to follow is that particular one. I imagine it is supposed to be one queue. For example, if we are 10, we are supposed to follow similar steps. You cannot bypass. There is nothing like maybe taking you through to go and first pick the ballot, then they come and verify your identity. No. These are chronologically arranged steps which will take you up to the end of the process.
Okay.
So I don't want to think, unless maybe if I didn't get that person very well. Now there is another concern whereby somebody was asking if somebody is blind, if somebody has issues, and that provision is there. And of course the polling station, there will be many people who will be observing that. Once it is proved that actually you need help and you have come with your grandchild to help you, that will be allowed, and has always been the case.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mugweri Geoffrey, Public Relations Officer at 3N Consultants, for that deep insight of what the voter needs to know as they go cast their ballot. We shall bring you more of this throughout the course of the week. Now, Robert, as we wind up, the scene at the polling stations, do you anticipate it's going to be smooth and harmonized?
Well, it depends on a number of stakeholders. One, the voters themselves.
Okay.
If they know what to do and they choose to have peace, to be peace, the candidates themselves. And finally, also the security. So if those parties, the candidates, the voters and security, all follow the law and push for peace, definitely it will be.
Okay, thank you for accompanying us this morning. I was with Mr. Robert Chirabo. My name is Joan N. Murungi. Coming up is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My fellow Ugandan, This is Judge Yoweri Kaguta Museveni speaking. For many years together, we have built peace, stability, and progress. These are the gains that have transformed our country and improved the lives of millions. As we move towards this qualitative leap to a middle-income country, let us continue protecting these gains by working hard, supporting our families, increasing the PDM funds from 100 million to 200 million per parish, and promoting peace in our communities. Uganda's success depends on each of us doing our part with integrity, discipline, and patriotism. Together, we shall secure our future and build a prosperous Uganda for generations to come. This is Judge Museveni, old man with a heart, with gratitude and commitment to you.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
I am called Odong Martin. I am 70 years old. I come from Naitakwai Parish, Nadunget Sub-County. This village is called Katanga. I knew about this SAGE money in, I don't remember very well the year, I think around 2013-14 is when I heard about this SAGE program. We were gathered at Katanga village as the elders. They said they need elders from 60 years. So we were gathered, and then I was part of the team who was identifying, because by then there were no IDs by then. So we were gathered together with the old women, said verification of years. When were you born? Then some of us were just, putting these events. I was born during the time of this, during the time of this, during the time of this, because for us, Karamajong, we identify the years through events. So that's how we need, and we said, okay, so-and-so is fit to be in this SAGE program, 60, because they said 60 above. So that's how I got it. The benefits actually, when it first came, because we were receiving, they told us we were receiving the first bunch of money, we received 25. These 25, we really were